Hey YouTube, OPD Sam 30 here, just wanting to chat with you a little bit about the Sena FreeWire for the Honda Goldwing. I put together a video about a little over a year ago, and I discussed some of the my final thoughts, and they actually weren't my final thoughts. That's why I'm talking to you today. I have about 15 minutes to discuss this, so I'm going to go through some stuff really quick. If I get to a point where I don't have enough time left, I'll continue with another video. But anyway, over the last year or so, I've discovered a lot of issues with the FreeWire. Nothing that's going to make me not use it anymore, but I just wanted to discuss those things with you. Some of the things that I've learned that will hopefully help you if you're encountering the same problems. First of all, let me tell you what the FreeWire is. The FreeWire is a Bluetooth transmitter. And what it does is it takes everything from your Honda entertainment system that you would normally receive through a corded environment to your helmet. It does the same thing, but it turns it into a Bluetooth signal, which sends a signal to your helmet, which allows you to be free of any cord in front of you. Some people like it. More people than not are probably switching over to Bluetooth now, because it is the technology of the future with regards to communications. In fact, the 2018 Honda Goldwing and Goldwing Tour models are completely Bluetooth. There's no more cord for either of those bikes. So real quick, I wanted to go over some case studies as to how these things work. One of the things I learned recently was that the FreeWire is very proprietary. It wants to be first when it comes to pairing. So whenever you start any kind of pairing procedure with your helmet, you always want to make sure that you pair your Sena FreeWire with your headset first as a phone, just like a phone pairing. And you know, for guys like me, I also run an external GPS Bluetooth that I need to also pair to my headset, but I pair that as a second phone, and I'll go over how you do that here in a second. But let's just start with someone who's driving down the road, and all you have is you just have your corded system. You don't have any iPhones or anything hooked up to your bike. So that's pretty straightforward. You just, you know, clamp it to your handlebar and pair up your headset to your FreeWire as if you were pairing it to your phone. And once you plug the 5-pin DIN into the helmet receptacle down below, and then into the mini USB adapter in the FreeWire, now what'll happen is all of that sound comes through the cord that you have hooked up into the Bluetooth transmitter and out to your helmet. So there is a cord, but it's not hooked up to your helmet. So anyway, that's how that thing works. Now, if you want to add something to it, let's just say you want to have an iPhone or an Android device as your music supply. What you do then is you pair your Sena FreeWire to your helmet first as a phone, and then you have to pair the iPhone or your Android as a second phone. And the way you do that with the 20S is you push the jog dial as if you were going to initiate an intercom conversation, and within 2 seconds after hearing intercom pairing, you have to push the phone button, and then you'll hear another prompt saying second phone pairing, and it's at that time that you pair the phone. You look down at your screen, your menu on your phone, and you just select the Sena 20S. Now, if you want to get a little bit more intricate, like for me, I have an iPhone. I have a Garmin Zumo 665 Bluetooth GPS on my handlebar, because I have a 2006 Honda Goldwing, and although it has the navigation system on it, it is very limited in what it can do. And that, I mean, the Honda navigation system, very limited on that year bike. I have a 2006. All you can do is plug in addresses, and if you want to do a custom route, you can, but you just have to make sure you plug in addresses along the right way that'll keep you on that road on your route. So very time consuming. So that's why I have the Garmin. So if you want to do that, it's a little tricky, but it's not that difficult. Again, you want to make sure that your helmet is paired to your FreeWire first as a first phone. The next thing you want to do is you want to pair your helmet, your headset, your 20S, to your GPS, your Garmin Zumo GPS, as a second phone. Again, going through those steps I just discussed earlier. And then what you do is you pair your phone to your Garmin also, because you can do that. The Garmin will accept pairing from two different devices. Once you have that done, what happens is any phone calls coming through your phone will go through your Garmin Zumo and then out to your headset in a Bluetooth environment. And then when you key the push to talk button on your Goldwing for your CB, then it cuts out everything, lets you have your conversation on the CB, and once you release the push to talk button, then it opens up that Bluetooth frequency again to your helmet from the FreeWire. I know one of the things that I just learned from a friend of mine named Greg, who watched my earlier video, was that the FreeWire, if you have a power source plugged into it, where when you turn on your ignition, it powers up. You'll notice that it does power up even if it's in the off position. And I did not know this until I spoke with my friend Greg, and he found that out from a Sena rep, and so that's an interesting thing. Here's my thoughts on that. He says, well, I don't need to have it turned on because there's power going to it. I said, that's true, but the thing here is, if you're on a ride, a lot of times I'll be on a ride and I'll get off the bike and I'll turn the ignition completely to the off position, especially if I know I'm going to be away from the bike where I can't see it. I'll pull the key, go do my business. And when you do that and you don't have the FreeWire on, that means the backup battery, or the battery that's inside the FreeWire, won't keep that frequency alive. So when you come back to your bike and you try to get going on the road, everything has to reacquire. And so if you're out on the ride and you notice that this feature is there and you're out on a ride, always make sure that you leave your FreeWire in the on position, because it's doing two things. It's keeping the frequency open between your helmet and your headset, and therefore eliminating any kind of a need to go through a pairing sequence, because sometimes they just lose their pairing sequence for whatever reason. You have to go through the whole pairing sequence all over again. So just leave it on, and that way when you're away from the bike, that signal will still be there when you get back on the bike. The other thing you can do is you could just leave your bike in the accessory position to keep the power going to everything, and you should be good to go. One of the things that I've noticed when I've helped people troubleshoot some problems with the FreeWire is that they haven't updated firmware. So anytime you buy a Sena device, with the exception of their batteries, their external batteries, power packs, always make sure that you plug it in and update the firmware. And to do that, you have to go onto the Sena website, and you have to download their device manager, and that's where they push all the updates to the firmware on these units through, so that you have the latest firmware. And you might ask, what's the need for that? Well, Sena adjusts and makes improvements to their product by continuously listening to videos like this, listening to help tickets, and consumers who use their products who are complaining, or might even suggest good ideas about what their products can do. And in some cases, they can make those adjustments through a firmware update. And so that's why you want to, every couple of months, you want to just plug your units in and check to make sure that the firmware is up to date, because they won't send you anything through the mail saying there's a firmware update. So just make sure you do that. The other thing I noticed that sometimes when you are plugging your FreeWire cord into your 5-pin DIN connector on your bike, you want to make sure that they're both cleaned out really well. Take a air hose if you can and just spray them out really good. Make sure there's no crud in there, because sometimes they just something gets in there and it just blocks one of the poles that's in there, and that kind of ruins your day too. So anyway, if you have any questions about how the FreeWire works, or if you have any questions about how you pair them, or what a sequence of pairing is, leave a message down below. I'll be more than happy to get back to you. I've helped a few guys already troubleshoot their Sena products, and they're happy campers right now, and happy riders, because they're out on the road and they're doing what they want the unit to do. So I'm going to be making another video here shortly, discussing the 2018 Honda Goldwing and their Bluetooth system, how it works, and I look forward to any comments, any concerns. If I'm off base here on anything that I've spoke about, please, this is a time to let me know, because this is all a learning experience for me, and I'm just trying to pass on what I know to you to kind of make life easy. I know dealing with the Sena technical support is very frustrating, and not only because a lot of times they can't help you because they don't see what's going on, they're just listening to what you're telling them. It just takes so long. I mean, an email takes a couple of days to get back to you sometimes, and if you do it on a Friday afternoon, you won't hear anything back till Monday or Tuesday of the following week. So collectively there's a bunch of guys on YouTube that know a little bit about these devices, and that's what we're here to help everybody out with these things. But I love Sena products. That's all I buy. I won't buy any other products. I think it's a pretty good indicator when you have Honda collaborating with Sena to be part of their Bluetooth technology on their new 2018 Honda Goldwing. So everything I've talked here about today is my opinion only, and it is just based on troubleshooting that I've done throughout the last year with my Sena 20S headset and my Sena FreeWire. So again, feel free to drop any comments or suggestions below, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks, and have a great day.